Hey folks, today is all about the tools that you need for your trade, and of course they live in my potting shed. If you need to know exactly what you need, how you need it and what you're going to use it for, then come with me. I'll show you into my crib. So folks, what are the most important gardening tools that you need? The basics. Let's start off here. Spade and a fork. And most times you need two forks, because when you are lifting up agapanthus, you need to lift them and then you need two forks to go into the center to be able to divide them. And anyway, you need to garden with somebody, so that's why it's always better to have another one. Let's go down to the hand tools. In terms of hand tools, we need just an ordinary little garden fork and a trowel. Plain and simple, especially for when you're doing potting or when you're just fiddling around taking out a few weeds, you know, got 10 minutes to spare. One of the most important gardening tools is probably this guy, all right? And this guy is amazing for taking out weeds and that in between pavers. It's also really good at dividing plants, and you can even grab plants and prune them just like that. Brilliant guy to have. The other thing that you need, and this isn't optional, but for me, because you know I'm quite anal about the edges of my lawn, is an edging tool like this. And then probably the most important in terms of cutting the edges of your grass, good old pair of sheep shears, because they do the best job. And there's no ways that you're going to cut it too short that you're going to mess it up. All right, onto the bit more robust stuff, you know, like heavy duty stuff. You're going to need a really good pair of loppers, and that's to get the really thick branches during pruning time. And when you need to lift the trunks of trees, you're going to be needing a loppers, and you need a good saw, all right? Nice good saw that you can, it's got the pull back motion. Always good to have these around because they save you a whole lot of effort when you, instead of fighting with plants, you know, it makes life a bit easier. And then of course, we need something to make sure that we're going to cut the hedges nice and straight. And even if you don't have any hedges, this could be used just as a quick trim along the edges where your lawnmower doesn't get to, makes it nice and simple. Two last things that you're going to need is a rake, all right? This is a rake for leveling out your area, and then a plastic rake, which is what you'll just need around the yard to neaten things up. But guys, those are the essentials, the must-haves and the want-to-haves right here. So folks, when you finish working in the garden and you've got your tools, the most important thing is how to take care of them. The first thing that you want to do is just get a cloth and give them a good wiping down. If they are full of mud, obviously use a damp cloth, even wash them under a running tap. And then the most important part is this. Either get some 3-in-1 oil or get one of these lubrication sprays and just a little bit on it, and then just give it a good wipe down, because if you do this, is going to make sure that your tools are going to last forever and ever and ever. And you know, it's fun getting involved in the garden, and then when you come back and everything's rusted and it's just not working, you're really not going to be too excited about gardening. So simple as that. Clean it off and then hang it back up where it belongs. A few other must-haves that you're going to need is one of these. Nice big spray bottle. That's for when you need to either use weed killer on the lawn, and a little guy over here that if you've got to put in some plant food or just treat one or two plants, have a little guy handy as well. Now into the propagation. I love keeping these little plant tags and a pencil, because that writes the best on them and it never ever fades. Okay, vermiculite for when you need to sow seeds. 1 or 2 blocks of coconut peat. And I like keeping sphagnum moss, because when I buy a pot plant to put inside the house to cover the ugly pot, I put a bit of sphagnum moss around it. Then I always keep some of these. These are plant ties. They work beautifully for when you need to stake your delphiniums or anything in the veggie garden. And of course, some bamboo stakes. Make sure you've at least got 5 or 6 of them, so when somebody needs staking, you've got that and you've got your ties to make sure that everything is okay. And then the tools of our trade, the most important, folks, the secateurs. Make sure that you've got a good pair of secateurs. I at least have 2 or 3. I've got 2 in my potting shed, and I've got 2 in the house, which live just underneath the prep bowl. So when I'm ready to garden, I pick it up and I go. don't have to look for things, because if you've got to look for things, by the time you found it, you're over it. Folks, the next thing that is really important is all about your seeds. Where do you store them? How do you store them? And how do you keep track of them? And I know this is a tough one because we all love buying seeds, and I'm a bit of an addict. You know, generally seeds will last you for a year, and then when you start sowing them, you have no guarantee on what's going to happen. So the trick is buy them and sow them as soon as you can. I keep mine separated into veggies and then flowers, and I do have some little brown paper packets if there's any particular seed that I want to store as something that's really special, because we all have those, you know, that our granny gave us, or that we might have stole from somewhere, you know what I'm saying. So I use the little brown paper packets. It stores them really nicely and keeps them healthy. So folks, that's all you need to know about keeping your seeds safe. Now, let's get into something that every gardener wants to do, and that's to take cuttings. Now, every gardener has a lavender plant, and every lavender plant dies after about 3 to 4, even 5 years. So I'm going to show you quickly one of the things that I love doing when I've got 10 or 15 minutes, and you're going to need a tray. I then need some coconut husk. Take a look in here. I've already had this broken down and I've had it in water so it just crumbles. The coconut peat is brilliant. I love using it. Okay, so take the scoop and all we do is pop in some of the coconut peat. Now, I'm a pretty nostalgic kind of person, and in my potting shed here are a lot of my dad's tools, and he was a builder. And this is one of my most favorite pieces that I always keep, and it's a little float. And I'm not a builder, but I am a gardener, so I get to use it here. And all I do is I use this just to get a nice level, even surface to prepare my tray. And there you have it. Now, we're going to start prepping our little lavender plants. Now, you never want to take the soft bits. You want to rather go with a slightly more woodier, where it's not really woody, but it's in between. It's in between those lower branches, okay, and the very soft tips. So in order to prepare them, all I do is chop it like that, take the little cutting, and all we're going to do is strip off some of the leaves. Make sure that you've got a nice 45-degree cut over there, because 45 degrees gives you more surface area for roots to develop than if it was a straight cut. Now what we do is we take it, dip it into the water, dip it into the hormone powder, and then literally straight in, just like that, and then firm it in. And that is how you take a cutting. There we go. And you know, it's been proven, and it's very interesting, that plants prefer to be together when you're trying to set as many roots as possible. So if growers have proven that if you have to take one little plant, one little cutting, and put it in a single little pot, that you will get a better take if you put them all together into a little tray. It's like hanging out with their mates, you know, makes life easier. Anyway, the last thing we've got to do, folks, is put our vermiculite on, and then we put this into a well-lit spot, okay? Not direct sun, just a well-lit spot. You're going to need to water it every day, and within 6 to 8 weeks, voila, you'll have some growing little lavenders. And that's the basics of your potting shed.